Hi guys and welcome back. So I realised I haven't actually touched on this topic for a while. One of my biggest watched videos is how I feel about my donor egg child, and I hate that title, to be fair, but it's hard to know what to label it and what people are going to search for. I don't know what to call myself. Am I a donor egg recipient mother, non-bio mother? Oh, what was it? A social parent was the terminology when I was pregnant last time. Social parent. No, did not like that term whatsoever. I am a mother. If you've seen videos of my son, he's so much my personality. I am a mother. I'm not a social mother. No. A lot of people get worried about being a donor egg recipient, and I just wanted to really reassure you, but be honest about it at the same time. It's not like I don't think about it. It's not like I'm 1000% okay with it. We all have wobbles. I'll go a little bit through the egg donor process. What your egg donor coordinator will do is take you through like a list, and you fill it out and you'll say what you sort of want, and it'll be anything from hair colour, eye colour, ethnicity. I think you can specify a certain level of education, height, build, religion, pretty much anything that you want. Now in the UK you don't see a picture of the donor. They might leave a letter, they might draw a picture. It's different from clinic to clinic. At my clinic, so Care Fertility Group, they tell them to do a pen portrait, so that can be however they interpret it. So my donor left a letter. I didn't actually get read this letter until we agreed to have her. I love it. She read it to me on the phone, and then I got sent a copy. It was just amazing to have a letter. So if you're watching this and you're considering donating your eggs, you might want to write a letter. And she wrote it addressed to any child, basically, because there's a line crossed out in it, and I think it basically says, I hope you have a nice life. And then she must have changed her mind and carried on writing and not realised that they didn't type it up. They literally just sent this letter as it was. And it just made me think that is something I would do. She sounded like a really sweet lady. And from that letter, we knew if she had children, we knew her occupation, we knew her interests, we knew her kind of personality. Yeah, our coordinator said not everyone leaves a letter. Some people leave nothing. But I've kept it, and when, it's really weird to say, when the boys are ready, they can have that letter and read it if they choose to. They might not choose to. We're not going to push it in any way, shape or form. So if you haven't seen me before, we are deciding to tell them, and we've already got storybooks that we've been reading to Orin. Check out my storybook video. It's quite in depth, and I've got about 4 books in there that you might want to consider if you are going to be telling your child through storybooks. Told about this donor that on paper, she was me. She was me. So she was the same ethnicity as me. She was my height within like a centimetre. She was my hair colour, build. The only thing different was her eye colour, and they put her down as dark light skinned, I think. So I don't know what I'd be in paper, because I am mixed race, but I'm not particularly dark. What I'd say about picking a donor, I know people try to get them as close as they can to look like them. My one thing that I put was like no one too fair. So I said I was happy with white, I was happy with mixed race, Mediterranean, black, because my partner is so fair. I just thought they'd end up mixed race, but it wasn't too fair. And the only reason was not for me, not to look like me, was I just kind of didn't want to picture picking up this really fair child from school and then potentially getting teased. And that was the only reason. And it's not a big reason, because obviously there's adoption, there's things like that. There's kids that look absolutely nothing like their biological parents. If you've seen my child, it does not look like he's 25% black whatsoever. He somehow ended up the exact skin colour of his dad. I say, if you've seen pictures, he's like a clone of my husband, and the 4D scan we had of this one is also a clone. But basically you can't guarantee how these kids are going to look. I know someone else with a donor egg baby, and I think he looks more like her than his biological dad. There obviously is the epigenetics. You can pick up, you can influence the characteristics that the embryo picks up. That embryo was put in the bio mother, and in you, the exact same one, they would come out and look different. You can have impacts, and there are people that have said Orin has got certain traits to me, but it's hard to say if that's me or if it's her. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll find out and he'll choose to meet her and she'll be happy to meet me. I don't know. Who knows where it's going to go. Try not to get hung up on it, because it doesn't bother me that he doesn't look like me. His personality is unfortunately mine. He's got my attitude. They definitely pick up on your personality. It's the kind of the nurture versus nature thing, and I just always want to reassure people with that. I've actually been contacted by donor conceived children. They've watched my journey to understand what their parent went through and how special they are, and there are people that are saying they feel so special because they were so wanted. I think you just need to realise that children are being made so many ways. My child is adored by anyone that's with him. He gets the best nursery reports because he's hilarious, he's really caring, just funny and happy, and he's going to be an amazing adult. And that's down to us. As he begins to understand how he was created, it might impact him, it might not. I don't think it will. I used to worry about it, but I don't think it will, because he's so loved. I do get upset sometimes because him and Tom have this amazing bond. They are literally like besties, but he's 2 and 2-year-olds can be mean. So one day he'll just want me, one day he'll just want him. There's no problem with bonding, and I know a lot of people worry about the bonding process. If you look back at my videos, I was watching them last night, of when he was born. I had a really traumatic birth, so I didn't get to really know that he was born. I didn't get to hold him for a couple of hours, and it just breaks my heart that we went through all that, and I just felt so deflated. But the next day Tom had to go home and it was just me and him, and he was crying, and then he just looked at me and stopped and had this strong eye contact at like less than 24 hours old, and all that worry went away. Like, he was mine and I was his mum. Anytime he cried, it just stopped when he was on me, and it just, oh, it's incredible. Won't change anything about him. I'm sure I'm going to feel the same way about this one. It's really weird to think I'm literally like 3 weeks away from my second donor baby, 20 years after being told I wouldn't have children. It's absolutely crazy. I can't see how you can feel any differently about a child having your DNA or not. I know some people don't tell people. That's completely fine. I don't think you have to. I don't see why it's important. If you tell the child or not, again, that's your decision. That's something you need to decide, but I don't think you need to decide it straight away either. I think if you make the decision by the time they're 2, it's probably a good idea, because that's when you want to start introducing it. So we have got the storybooks. We don't read them a lot because my son's got a strong personality, and he's got his favourite books and he wants to read those books and no other books. We kind of bring it up when we can, but there's no point forcing it on him. He's got plenty of time to understand. It's one reason we definitely wanted to have another. So these 2, I'm hoping, grow up close, and they've been made the same way so they can confide in each other. They don't have to talk to me and Tom, but we will have an open door to it. But I don't want to kind of like keep bringing it up. Because I remember reading this woman said she told her 13-year-old daughter, and she went, oh, that's fine. Can I go back upstairs? Was really not like that bothered, but she then, like, in a couple of years time, might ask some more questions. She might decide that she wants to request some details of her biological parent. She might not. Yeah, the process is like really easy. I know people get quite worried about it, but to be a recipient, you go through a lot less than you do if you are the one having the eggs retrieved, to be honest. So I've got loads of videos on it, but the short story is they will check your uterine lining is the right thickness. So they'll put you on estrogen, then halfway through that cycle they'll check your lining. If it's all okay, you'll then start progesterone. You'll then have transfer when the embryos are ready. Then you'll test 2 weeks later. That is like the really quick kind of summary of it. But as I said, I've got a lot more in-depth videos about it. My feelings have not changed. If I'm feeling a bit low, which lockdown's been hard, pregnancy and lockdown's been hard, and the second pregnancy after a traumatic birth has been hard. So if I've had some like down days and he's been all about Tom, I'll be like, oh, he knows I'm not his mum, and then I'm fine, and then I'm over it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do have those wobbles. I know other people that have those wobbles, and there's a few people that I've got kids the same age, and we sort of worry a little bit about when they're teenagers. As I said, look at the way people are being made these days. I saw a story, there's the first UK man that's used a surrogate and an egg donor to have a child. So he's like had 2 ladies make this son for him, and it's only going to change and get more and more like that to have a family, because the world's changing, and I just don't think it's going to be that unusual to be created in a tube. I'm sorry if I'm really dry with my humour. It's just how I am. I share my son and me a lot on my Instagram. It's kind of changed more into a mummy Instagram now, and you'll see that we have a really, really happy life. It's a weird one because I went through a lot, obviously, growing up with that massive cloud, but if I wouldn't have had that, then I wouldn't have him. And yeah, I wouldn't change anything about him. I was a bit disappointed he didn't have curly hair when his dad's hair's so curly. That's it. I'm expecting this one to come out with a full-blown like afro and just look like Oren, but maybe be like a darker version with curlier hair. Who knows? Who knows how he's going to turn out? Any questions about it? I'm happy to talk about the egg donation side, but I am going to be doing lots more on my family and my newborn baby this year. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.